When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ledlow, and enjoy today's episode. Hello, everybody. This is Mark Ledlow with the Fearless Mindset Podcast. And today we bring to you the badass himself, Red 5 owner, CEO, Kris Coleman. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, Mark. That's quite an intro.
Well, hey, you have the CIA, FBI. I don't know what else, how many other letters you have behind your name, but that's quite the experience.
Yeah, I was very, very fortunate to be able to work for both of those organizations. So yeah, from that perspective, my hat's off to my colleagues at those places. I mean, lots of sacrifice, lots of commitment. I was honored to be a part of both of those. So
awesome stuff. It was an honor to work with you under your umbrella with that certain principal there in Southern California a few years ago under Mike Trout's leadership. And that was probably by far the best experience I've had in the executive protection industry, working for you guys and supporting Trout out there. And it just changed my mind on how a true operation should work in the bodyguard executive protection world.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, we always put ourselves out there as, solving problems for clients, and that was a long-standing client for us. And I literally stumbled across it driving by the airport at LAX, and I'm like, I didn't know they were here. And one phone call later, they're like, you got to get over there and fix it. And
fix it.
Crazy, right? So I mean, and we all know it. No mission goes perfect, but we were so fortunate to have the opportunity, and Mike was available, and Mike and I go way back, and he's been, worked under us, with us, as a partner on a variety of things over the years. And here he is again. There he was again, jumping in, and glad you could be a part of that epic detail.
It was epic. In fact, was it 50 agents total on that thing for 2 months?
Yeah, I mean, it was about 30 to 45 days total. It was, I think, with the turnover, it was around 55, 60 agents total, coming and going. So definitely quite an operation. A couple different locations, as you know, and and high touch, right? High maintenance. And,
it was.
And lots of unique challenges, as you recall.
Oh yeah. I got the T-shirt.
Hey, exactly. Yeah.
So here we are in 2021, and it's been kind of nutty. Elections finally got over with. We have a new president in office, and things are moving along. COVID-19 is starting to go bye-bye with therapeutics and vaccines, and people getting shots. How's it going in your location with your business in Virginia? I'm assuming you guys are getting a huge increase in inquiries from clients.
Yeah, so we had an interesting 2020. We've I think a lot of companies they faced a lot of challenges. We're just like everybody else in that way, but we had a continuity of operations plan in place when it hit. We went virtual 10 days later, and frankly, we just been cranking along. We had a couple of quiet months in the middle when everybody was really, dealing with the peaks of the pandemic. But pretty quickly, back at the end of the summer, we were starting to get inquiries again, and we started to travel at that point. We have one very dedicated employee that was like, I am getting on the road. I'm going now, and you can't stop me. I'm like, okay. So he got on the road, and we started servicing clients again. And probably by October, we're getting more and more inquiries. The election drove a lot of uncertainty for a lot of people, and that really picked up the pace. We had the EP details starting again in the fall. And then by January 6th, the meter's been pegged. We are running on all cylinders, full throttle, and we're very fortunate that we've been able to continue to partner with other companies in different regions. I mean, we've got bodies in Utah, we've got contractor support, and out west, obviously, California. We're generating more work in Southwest Florida. So we are very busy. We're very fortunate, as I said, we're hiring. So people can always go to the website and see what we're hiring for. But we've proven the virtual model on the Red 5 side. So we're absolutely looking to capitalize on that with the right kind of mature, hires we can bring onto the team there. So good stuff. We're very, very, very fortunate in this environment, and just want to keep the momentum going. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, I remember Mike Trott being on the podcast saying that as soon as the vaccine therapies would hit and everything get the feeling out there that's going to be okay, he said, prepare. It's going to be like the water coming out of the fire hose. And you just described that's what's happening out there.
Yeah, no, I think January 6th changed a lot of people's minds about stability, what stability means. And that really drove a lot of work afterwards. A lot of people were going back and looking at assessments they hadn't done. They haven't refreshed their assessments recently. And so they're like, this is a good reason to do a refresh on the assessment side. And so that drove some of the work. We've been busy with preparing for, like you said, this tsunami of travel that's coming. And a lot of our clients had hunkered down during the pandemic and weren't traveling. But once this thing opens up and people are vaccinated, I think it's going to be very, very busy.
Good for the pocketbooks and good to pay the bills. And I know a lot of agents once in a while get on Facebook, and I'm on some of the private groups and all that. You could tell everybody's sitting at home waiting for the phone call. Everybody's whatever the drama wall is going on. I'm like, well, if I were you guys, would be out there training right now, like Mike and you and James Hamilton with Gavin Becker even said, hey, you need to be training, get your medical certs up, get your training up, because once the thing's rolling, you're not going to have time to train.
Yeah, and that's right. You take advantage of the time you have. And we did that in the company. We had some downtime there late summer before it picked back up. And we were modifying services to deal with the COVID adjustments and what can we do that's different. And we were always thinking outside the box, and brought the team in and said, listen, let's throw everything on the table. Let's shake it up. Let's see what we can peel off to make it more streamlined and more effective. And how can we better serve our clients in this new environment? So same thing for EP. Got to do that. You really have to pay attention. It's not about the new, we've talked about this before, Mark. It's not about the new earpiece, right? It's not about what's the new holster is. You got to be smarter in today's EP world. You really got to be paying attention to the digital environment. You got to be paying attention to the medical environment. That's been proven, beat to death now. And I think the reality is, what does your contingency planning look like as an EP agent? We always taught when I was overseas and when I was with, private domestic groups here, what are you going to do when the ball comes to you? Whether you have a baseball analogy in your head, playing shortstop and a man on first and third, one out, what do you do when the ball comes to you? Same thing with EP. And we used to teach that overseas, and we would use the soccer, the football analogy overseas. And it would be like, hey, you're on the team and you're running down the field. What are you going to do when the ball comes to you? It does make people get out of that reactionary mode, and it does make people think a little bit more innovative about, well, now you're putting the onus on me to make a decision to be prepared, and that's all about that contingency piece. Really would like to see EP agents go to that next level of sophistication around contingency thinking, and get out of the black Velcro focus we've had in some instances. Earpieces and guns and sunglasses and body armor. Let's be smarter. I think I'd love to see that in the industry.
Yeah, I definitely think with your book that you just came out, addressing a lot of those things that, cognitively we be aware of being in the field. Like you said, how many case studies have we seen a gun being pulled out protecting a principal? Secret Service has not pulled a gun out since Reagan, I believe. Right. So how many years ago was that? But you got
exactly.
Protective methodologies and protocols and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. I think that's something we need to implement in our EP programs or EP courses that, whatever is going on out there, they should incorporate that mindset. You just came out with your book in October. Raise your sorry about that tongue twister. Raise your resiliency. There we go.
Right.
And how's the book sales going for you so far?
It's going well. Obviously it was we were going to put the marker down that we've been thinking about this for a long time. It's really at the core of who we are as a company and who we are when we talk to our clients. Coming from both the FBI and the CIA, I was really fortunate to get all that training, taxpayer funded, but very robust and lengthy schools. I mean, between Quantico and the farm and some of the other schools we were fortunate to go to, it was all about, street survival. It was always about surviving in the field and getting through the attack, right? And they really beat us to death with repetitions, great skill sets, really raising your antenna as you rolled into an unknown environment. And all of that, fed into this mindset we had of resiliency, right? Whether you're an agent in the field or whether you're operating overseas, with the organization, it was always pay attention to what's going around you, right? So awareness was always really important. And they beat in you that you had to have the right mindset. You had to have a street survival mindset, a positive, growth-oriented mindset to push through whatever the challenge is, whether it's a gunfight in the street or it's, escape and evasion. You're trying to get through a war zone. And then they would talk about fitness. I mean, Quantico was all about fitness. There was a big fitness component in Quantico. And then the agency too, it was like, this is how you manage stress. This is how you keep your sort of a low key, stress managed environment where you can think clearly through the challenge. So there's mental, there's physical fitness, emotional fitness, obviously, what's going on with you and your family and yourself. And then there was a ton of skills, right? So they threw, firearms and, defensive driving and tradecraft and get you through, the criminal investigation piece, evidence collection, traveling overseas, all the skills they gave us. And then lastly, we knew that we had to rely on our teammates, right? A lot of times in the agency, you're operating solo out there or in a sort of remote capacity. In the bureau, you often had your squad, right? Your FBI squad, or you had your SWAT team that you were out there operating on. And then protective teams. I've operated on protective teams on both sides of those agencies. So relationships is really important. So I took a lot of that information and all that experience I had, and I boiled it down to those 5 pillars: awareness, mindset, fitness, skills, and relationships. And I'm like, okay, we got these 5 pillars, but how do you get to where you want to be, right? The ultimate goal is to survive and thrive. So what I believe and what I think has been played out at both agencies I've been at, as well as in the private sector, is that everything hinges on the individual. Right? If the individual isn't resilient, then the team's not going to be resilient. If you have a bunch of weak links on the team, it's not going to go well. Same thing with your family. So if the majority of your family is not resilient and they're busy thinking about other things and they're not aware of what's going around them, or they're buried in social media and disinformation, it's not going to really make the family resilient. And then, having been in business now 17 years, for me, it was really, you can apply all of this to your livelihood, whether you're in the business for yourself, whether you are a part of a corporate team, or you have a job, right? And that's your livelihood. You can apply these 5 pillars to your individual life, your family life, and your business life. And then if you have all 5 and you're working towards the 3 critical units, you can get to the one goal, which is to survive and thrive. And that's really how the book is set up. And there's a series of checklists. There's obviously a lot of content in there and case studies and things that we've experienced over the years. But, you can pick this book up and go to any one of those chapters, and there's a lot of really good advice there. So I hope people are finding it helpful. I'm getting a lot of interest, both on the podcast as well as on sales. And we're using it in our training for our new Real Experiences brand.
Now, speaking of the Real Experiences brand, when did you guys come up with that business model as far as teaching, educating, consulting? Would that come from the book itself, or?
Yeah. So interestingly, probably 3.5 years ago, so way before COVID, way before, this whole concept, we started putting together a curriculum for executives that would really help prepare them for this challenge that they were going to face. So it was originally about resiliency for executives and leaders, REAL, the acronym there, but this turned into its own brand of Real Experiences. So we've taken, people and participants and executives out to Moab, and we've done a 5-day off-road course, and we ran them through leadership challenges, things that you might see in a leadership reaction course from the military. We run them through land navigation, vehicle navigation, vehicle recovery, medical and mechanical challenges. And that 5-day really turned into something that was really, in the words of a participant, it was really transformational. right?
Wow.
They'd never really been challenged in an artificially stressful environment like that in scenarios that led them to change the way they were thinking about their life, back home or in their business. So we've taken that concept, and then we were approached by a private family, and there was a young member of the family that was about to come in and take over a greater responsibility in the family business, family office. And, there was this, I don't know if I'm ready, mindset. I just don't know. I don't think I can do it. I just broke up with my fiance, and I couldn't change a tire if I had to change a tire. And, there was all these self-sufficiency doubts that this person had. So we took the curriculum we were building for real, and then this inputs we took from the family office, and we said, let's create, something that is robust, right? Something that deals with immersive environments and allows people to be challenged in a little bit of safety there, right? We don't want to go crazy with the challenge, but they can be challenged and they can fail if they have to in a safe environment, so that when they do get back to the real life, they're not going to absolutely fall and be a complete catastrophe. So there's a whole bunch of elements of artificial stress, leadership challenges, team building, different kinds of scenarios. And that is now what real is. We have 1, 2, and 3 day courses that are going to roll out. And then there's going to be a library of classes you can sign up for and take, either whether you're a family office or you're a corporate team, or if you want to sign up as an individual. And that's all going to roll out here very soon online. And then there'll be classes available starting in June. So pretty exciting, kind of a sub-brand spinning out of Red 5. But we've got a lot of interest. And as you said, when this vaccine kicks in and the numbers come down, there's going to be a lot of folks looking to get into these classes.
So it's like a Red 5 continued leadership university.
Yeah, I mean, think of it. I mean, we're going to have specialized classes, right? It's all around resiliency. It's all around the 5 pillars. Mm-hmm. But then there's going to be like an urban survival class, right? Wilderness survival class. There may be a 4-wheel drive mobility challenge. We're going to take you from point A to point B, like a detail, mm-hmm. and you'd have to actually move from point A to point B over maybe 100 miles over the course of 5 days. But you'd see a series of challenges as you move through that as a detail. So that'd be a great corporate team training environment. And we can put you through, sort of moving the protective package from point A to point B. We're escaping the city, moving to the private ranch, whatever scenario we want to use. But we've got other groups that have shown interest, disaster recovery teams that need to go to these non-permissive environments where a disaster has occurred. And they need training, right? They need to be put through training so that they can gel as a team.
Right.
So we can run them through a similar experience, and they can bring their own gear. They may have a proprietary set of gear they have to use for their company. They can bring that along, and we'll just incorporate into the scenario. So we're ready to build, we've got the core classes 1, 2, and 3 day long, but then we're ready to build out customized classes for corporations and families if they want that. We'll have a whole library to choose from, but I'd love to see the EP teams, get involved in this, and we can definitely give them a great experience.
Yeah, I can see that being an added value skill set that just to push yourself psychologically under duress situations for a couple of days, knowing an actual true detail goes at least 30 days if you're protecting a royal family from overseas, and to see that what people their response to those stress factors.
Oh, absolutely. So you're in a real environment. You've got your peers, looking at you like, let's do it. Let's solve the problem. And you actually have to apply the skills. So we know that there's a lot of, classroom that you can take, right? You can take classroom classes, you can do online classes, you can check a box, get a certificate, but we want you to go into the field and then practice that. And if we can set this up in a way where you're gonna see it, you're gonna hear it, and then you're gonna do it, and then you're gonna do it again under stress. We know that repetitions are going to be the way to success. But we've got great instructors we're lining up, and I'm handpicking the instructors from the perspective of, can you actually transfer knowledge in a way that's productive and effective, right? We can go get, God love them, we can go get door kickers all day long, but I need you to be an instructor and a sharer of knowledge, right? And bring the students along. And we're not training, in a lot of instances, we're not training law enforcement, we're not training military personnel. These are mostly civilians.
Leadership.
So bringing that civilian crew along, leadership. Yep, could be leadership oriented.
C-suite, executives, shareholders of the corporation, organization type of thing.
Absolutely, and it's all welcome, right? So it's
Sure.
it's fitness welcome, it's gender welcome. It doesn't matter. Everybody's welcome.
Okay.
We'll put the curriculum together so that we'll push you, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to break you. This isn't boot camp. Think about it as a developmental class, right? We're really excited about it.
Now, how's the summer shape, the spring and summer looking for you guys with just the overall picture of, you have travel component of executives. I've gotten 3 calls from a client that they've seen, like in the last 2 weeks, people starting to move around. It must be executives from corporations, C-suite and above. I'm assuming they want transportation from point A to point B, meeting, hotel, boom, airport, private flight out. So it seems like that is starting to tick up quite a bit in the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think human beings are supposed to be together, right? I mean, this has been painful for all of society, and I think you're going to see folks that are vaccinated, are ready to roll, are ready to start meeting face to face. And it may be surgical strikes here for a while, right? The private aviation in and out, do a specific meeting and come back.
Right.
But executives know it's the face to face matters, and that handshake and the relationship building matters. So it is going to come back. It is going to come back with a vengeance, I'm pretty sure. So we're starting to see that uptick. We're getting clients reaching out to us, and they're saying, we like what Red 5's doing around a holistic approach, right? So you're not just an EP shop, you're not just an intel shop, you're not just an investigation shop, but you tend to be sort of a project manager, a relationship manager shop, where if we come to you and we've got an issue in EP, we know that we can also come to you and say, wow, this other thing came up and it's cyber oriented, or could you help us with an investigation that's going on that's fraud oriented? Due diligence, we do a ton of due diligence. And so we're kind of a one-stop shop in a lot of ways. And so clients, and I think security managers of the future, their buying habits are going to change. And we're seeing that they don't want 6 vendors, right? They want a vendor that they know that in most cases, there's not one security company that can do everything, right?
True.
There are companies that are driving towards that, as we know in our industry, try to own everything out there.
Absolutely.
But what we tell our clients is, listen, everyone is using the same handful of trusted people in certain foreign countries that are small environments. They're using the same kind of go-to people that are from the same 3-letter agencies to get the right kind of pedigree and skill set. What we've set it up is that we can be an easy button. And for these new security managers that are coming up, they're not wanting to get 6 contracts in place for 6 different disciplines. They want one teammate. Let us come in and handle it. We got one contract. We can do statements of work. We can go left and right lateral if we need to for problem solving. And some of those may be one-offs. But if they can sign up with us, for example, with a Red 5 services subscription, we're basically your back office for your security directors or your CSO that doesn't have a huge team. We're great in that capacity. We're happy to be behind the scenes and just tackling all the challenges of security director. We do that very, very well.
And from what I'm hearing from my different sources out there, because of the podcast that are heads of security in their own organizations, the word there just now. They want a relationship.
Yep.
They don't want 3 layers of VP, general counsel, and a vote from the shareholders to see if they can fill a job.
Right. 100%.
They don't want that. They want to call Kris at Red 5. Hey, we got this client movement, and you got the in-house intel, you have analysts, you have the package, you have a consulting organization, you can handle that from A to Z. And like you said, I'm hearing probably half dozen phone call conversations I've had. They want that relationship. They want that trust. They want to know that Kris will take care of them, and they trust you because of your background and your past experiences with the CIA, the FBI, and that gave you to what you have now. And that's worth a lot of money and trust. That's like a policy of the relationship right there. And
very true. I mean, we're very fortunate that clients, they do trust us. Listen, no company's perfect, right? But we've had a great record. We have a great reputation. And if we do make a mistake, we fix it. Well, we've proven that year after year, and that's just where we come from and who we are. And from that perspective, the reality is we've had a lot of success. We've been able to build the brand. We are getting a lot of calls from, in some instances, from competitors saying, "Hey, what's this look like? Can we team with you on this?" Or, because we're also really easy to work with, contractually. Right. We've tried really hard to make it, like I said, the easy button to partner. Right, if we need to go into South Africa to tackle a project, it's threat management related, we'll partner there because we don't have bodies there, but most companies don't. Sure. But you get go a lot further in this industry if you can partner well and just be an honest broker and be straight up with folks. That's always just served us really, really well.
And I see so many guys, like myself. I come from an executive protection background, Marine Corps background, and I see a lot of guys trying to pop a flag up. Nothing wrong with that. It's a free market. We can do whatever we want to do in America. We're fortunate to do that. But people, I think guys get that. The alpha male kicks into them, guys and gals, and they think they can support $100,000 payroll.
Right.
And we can get that cash fusion to take care of that client. Do you really want a bad reputation from your boys and girls go on Facebook and blast you on LinkedIn saying you can't make payroll? Or is it smart to partner with the Red 5 and Kris over in Virginia to make sure that those insurances and those legalities are in place to protect the client and your organization? But I've seen some people getting desperate right now. I see them making really bad business choices, and they don't have some good business lawyers, or they can't afford that. They think, "Oh, I'm just going to go strike it out and try to get a contract." Getting a contract is really difficult, as you know.
Yeah, no, it's and you, like you said, man, I don't begrudge anybody going for it. Right, you gotta go for it, and I left government service to go for it, and I can't tell you how excited I am that we're still cranking away. But to your point, what we've always said for these shops that want to, let's plant a flag. Yeah. Let's open it up. I got a good opportunity. We've told our friends and colleagues in this space that, listen, call us. We'll happily be your back office, right? If you want to prime it, you've got the insurance and you've got the basics in place so that you're comfortable from a business perspective, delivering with the relationship. We're happy to come in behind you if you have a good reputation, right? And be your back office and help you deliver, because that is how it happens, right? Someone gives you the break. Someone gives you that opportunity. I mean, we were fortunate to have that. We had a couple of great breaks early on. Mm-hmm. And it was because we were trusted and we got ourselves situated. And then I started literally networking like crazy to make sure I could cover every state and every country that my clients were going to go to. But it's the same thing. I'm willing to lean forward if someone's got a great contract they landed, but they can't deliver it in-house. Call us. We'll happily be the back office and help set you up. And we know that we have to get our rates right so that you can make a profit as the lead, right, as the prime. So we've told that. I mean, I ran a former Fed conference last February, a year ago February, and I brought in a dozen folks that were either just out or about to get out of federal service. And I'm going to do this again. This was wildly successful. I think I hired 4 of them as contractors and 1 of them as an employee. And I've got 2 others as now network contacts. I mean, that's money, right? The network is so valuable. So we'll probably run another one this fall when things relent a little bit. But I told all of them, I'm like, either come to work for us as a contractor, come to work for us as an employer, or hang up your own shingle and bring us in behind you to support you, because I'm really about helping the former feds that are getting out and transitioning and trying to keep this industry going. There's a ton of work, as you know. We're all very fortunate that the industry is really doing well. And to your point on one of the other, I think, LinkedIn posts you made, there is a lot of work in the security industry. And, it doesn't take much to mess it up, but if you can come out here and get established,
right,
and team with the right people, you can do really quite well.
Now, you made a key point there, your network. And I don't think people understand, and the guys and girls in the field, I don't think they have a really good grasp on the key of networking. Because when you're working on a job, you're networking, you're interviewing, and you're getting to know the people that have the contract. And well, I'm SF, I'm a special forces guy, or I'm a, Israeli, whatever, special forces or whatever. When people don't know you, they're not going to call you. And when you
Right.
work these jobs, I mean, when I worked your detail, it was like everybody's getting each other's phone numbers because we work in with each other. And then when
Right.
you leave, you still have each other's phone number. That's the job interview. And a lot of people, they don't want to take that step, that first step of breaking in the business, because they think they're owed, $500 to $600,000 a day. They think they're owed that. Like, you got to prove yourself in the field first. And there haven't been any rural families that I know that come in states because of COVID and lockdown, I think the last 3 years. And so a
Yeah.
lot of these young people getting in the business, they're scratching their head. Well, how do I get in this business? Like, well, you gotta get off the rookie uniform and, get in the blue uniform, and you got to pay your dues a little bit. And people assume just because they have law enforcement, military, or whatever background, they're just going to naturally just grab a spot.
Yeah. No, it's true. I mean, I was so fortunate to go through, all the training I had, and I ran the protection training curriculum at the agency for a little while, and that's where Mike and I met.
Yeah.
Mike was coming through class and had a great background, and we really hit it off when I was running the program. He was coming through, and we've been great friends and colleagues since. Now, not everybody gets that opportunity, right? And that can't be the bar, right? Because we have a large country and we have a large population of UP agents, and we want them to go through some form of a formalized course. And, there are others out there. There are short courses, 3 days. There's 5 days. There's, some of the other larger EP companies have their own academies, and I kudos to them for doing that and creating a standard, because we don't have a national standard here. We just
Right.
don't, and we don't have a national certification. And frankly, that would go a long way to getting everybody to the same level, and it would help the industry, because the other thing we get is, we'd like you to propose, make a proposal to take on this program. And I'm like, well, I'm happy to do that. And they're like, yeah, we need it tomorrow, and it needs to be, not more than X dollars a day. And I'm like, you don't value what we do, then I'm not going to spend the effort to give you the right proposal. So there is a big problem with, folks going to, Craigslist, or just putting something out there on Facebook saying, $250 a day for an armed agent. And you got people taking the jobs without licenses, without training. And that really hurts the industry. And if we could create some sort of a certification level, and I know that's a big lift, and people are saying, well, Kris, go do it yourself. The reality is it's going to take a group to set a national certification level standard, and it would really serve us well. I would like to think that it's done well in the UK, where they have their certification. From what I've heard from colleagues over there, it's been a good thing to help raise the standards. But I'd love to see that here.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kris. It definitely needs to be done, because right now it's just getting watered. Like you said, I see stuff on Facebook, Indeed, and Craigslist. It just waters down the professionalism of some solid guys and girls that are out there that can do a type of job for that client. And
yep.
I know everybody's focused on being a bodyguard, but there's so many other factors of security. You have concierge, you got intelligence, which you guys do as well, and there's
right.
so many other things you can do in addition to being a bodyguard. And fix the guys, you get old, you want you at that 40 mark, you're not pretty to look at. Start getting that basketball belly.
Right.
And the guy's like, well, if I have a bad guy coming after me, you're not going to be able to take him down. You have a basketball belly, and you're not going to be able to do anything. That's just the reality of aging. And you got to think of what is when you do have an expiration date on your body and you love this business, there's intel you get, analyst things you can do. And there's so many other factors and facets in the business that you can get involved with.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it falls on us that have been in the industry for a while to help, those others that are trying to figure that out, right? Whether you're coming out of federal service, you've got 20, 25 years in,
right.
And you've been on the street maybe for this long. And again, like you said, your back and your knees don't last forever.
No.
So how do you help those folks transition? For those coming up in the ranks, how do you help them transition and get the right kind of gigs early on? Fitness is a huge piece of this. It has to be for stress management and the ability to respond to concerns. But also just keeping your cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this environment, there's a lot of stressors, both personally, professionally, and if you've got a lot of stress in your life, folks, getting into this industry, you're going to have to be able to manage the challenges that are going to be put in front of you. Someone approaches you and they're angry and they've got this whole threat thing going on. You're going to have to de-escalate that thing pretty fast and do so without losing your cool. And if you're already stressed out, that's going to be a challenge. So I think you're right. There's a lot to be done there in that space. Just trying to stay fit, to transition from point A in your career to point B in your career. I know there's a couple other good podcasts out there about that kind of concept for transitioning. But yeah, love to be an asset, a resource to others in the industry as they have questions or things like that.
Now, what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you, Kris? Is it just Red 5 email contact, Red 5 on your website?
Yeah, that's good. That comes into our queue, obviously, to get addressed on a regular basis. I'm on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest channel to hit me up there on LinkedIn. And I do pay attention to that. So trying to weed out the sales approaches. But
every other day,
I try to take a look at that and connect with folks. And again, it's, a connection is a success, right? And
absolutely.
And like you said, you get on to a detail. And for me, when folks are on my details, I really think that every day is an interview. So, you may have interviewed well and got on a detail, but if you show up on day 3 and you're a mess, you're not dressed right, you're not prepared right, you're not really in a good mindset to be a client service representative, that was not a good interview day, right? Especially as a contractor, we want to make sure that we deliver every day because there's a lot of them out there, and obviously the cream rises to the top
every time. And also, listen, for the audience, they need to pick up your book. If they want to get in the business. Raise Your Resiliency is on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Go online, order that. And also keep a lookout for the real team experiences that Kris and his team are going to be launching here soon. You got a lot going on over there, Kris.
Yeah, I don't sit still very often. I've been very fortunate, and I have a great team. And without the employees, this company goes nowhere. So thankful for everybody on our team, and we're very fortunate to have the clients we have. So it's been great, and I really appreciate being here today, Mark.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for your time. I know we had a little oopsie there with something in the background. I'm not going to say too much detail about that, but we'll clean that up and get it published. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, Fearless Mindset podcast.com is my website. And you can also find me on LinkedIn as well. And Ledlow Security Group, we're on the West Coast. And I was honored to support Kris and Mike Trout when they were out there on the West Coast in LA for that one principal family that they had. And it was a pleasure because I learned probably the most I've ever learned. And I'd say going to Dag & Clark's Executive Protection School was probably another butt kicker in the business. But you got to challenge yourself. You don't challenge yourself, you don't grow.
You got it.
But thanks for your time, Kris. And make sure you guys buy his book, Raise Your Resiliency. And we will be in touch, Kris. And now that we got this recording done, all right, thanks, folks.